Oh wait, hold on. I need to open up the chat thing. Otherwise, I never see it actually happen. Twitch here. I saw someone twitching that had chat built into the actual stream, and I thought, like, that's just very nice. I should do that. And then I did not do anything differently. Dashboard, community, no, maybe streaming tools, no, maybe stream manager. Here we go. I think we got it. And then chat. Pop out. Close. Okay. So I got the chat up. All right. So scenario here is.
Yeah. Dave Farley started a YouTube series on refactoring some legacy code. And yeah, when he used the approval testing tool, I figured that's something I want to try out as well, or it would be a cool demo. I asked him for the code. So apparently there's a website called shitcode.net where people anonymously can paste down their code. And this is a code example which takes XML files and produces some JSON output. And again, it has everything, comments and have to read code. Apparently it's used by a major aerospace company, whatever that means. And yeah, he gave me a link to that. I set up my IntelliJ Java project for it. Filled in a few blanks. Some imports were not resolving, so I need to get the DOM4J library and all of that. And yeah, this is.
So you've seen this code like a little bit. You haven't watched the full video. I haven't seen anything. We were just pairing today, and you're like, "Let's try this out."
Yes, I didn't follow the refactorings because I wanted to do it myself as well. So the only advantage I have is that I've got this code to compile and played a bit around with the input for the test, but didn't really get very far. And I figured, yeah, together we maybe have better chances.
All right, let's do it. So first of all, this class, I'm guessing it has some entry points. So like one or two methods that we come into.
It even has a main method, which obviously doesn't work because that's not. There's no server on my machine running. But it looks like some table of.
But it looks like the main method is calling the get JSON.
Yes.
And so let's make a test that creates an XmlToJson and then calls get JSON. And oh, it looks like we got that. Nice.
The preparer.
Yep. Let me find a way to turn off notifications.
It also takes some kind of XPath string to sort of traverse the XML structure, to not always transform the full XML. You can basically select, only give me that subtree.
Yep.
So I also have some tab open regarding XPath.
All right.
Rusty on that.
Sorry, go back to that test. So we want to pass in, we want to get JSON of a URL. So you pass it you pass it a URL?
Yeah, a URL to a file.
Oh, to a file. This is a file path. And then
in there it's
sorry, take me to the get JSON thing again. What does this XPath take?
An XPath string. Like
okay. And does that can we just get the whole thing from that?
Sorry?
Like, can the XPath string give us the entire JSON?
Yes, if we don't basically equals the root, just a slash, then it.
So let's do that.
And that's the file I have. That's, I think, where the interesting part starts. Like, you have a code base, but you don't have the example input, which we have now.
Well, wait, but your example input is empty.
Again, I played a bit around, but I figured let's do it from scratch.
No. Give me like a big, go to Google and say sample XML. I want something big and ugly.
Okay, well, I got that from Dave as well. but initially one doesn't have that. But,
no. Just literally, if you just Google sample XML.
Okay, any XML.
Nah, too small. Go back. Bigger, uglier. Yeah, that looks great. Grab that. So it also looks flat. Can you do a search for sample XML large? Deep, yeah, there you go. Let's see what that does. That looks sort of flat. Go back. Yeah, there you go. There was a customer and orders in namespace. Try that. Like fourth down.
Yeah.
That looks reasonable. Let's grab that. The whole thing. There's a copy button up at the top. All right, save that. Let's run this.
Yeah, that's all we get, closing brackets.
So that's not what we're expecting, or that is what we're expecting? I mean, it is what it does.
It's not at all what we're expecting, because oddly enough, I think the code has a bug, but they somehow managed to get...
So regardless of it having a bug, our goal is always to preserve behaviors. Our goal is not to fix a bug right now. But whatever bugs it has at the beginning, we want it to continue to have. But let's close this. And let's look at our JSON or our XML for a second. So if you were to say Grill, will this now give us like the customers or something? Like how would you, what's the string that would get us to get like a subsection of this?
With xpub, I think here you would say //
bookstore. Is that like an xpub?
You could / customer. And I guess.
Let's try that. Let's see what that gives us.
Application path cannot end with.
Okay, so it does not like that. Try / customer. Doesn't like that either. Okay, let's go look at its sample. Because the sample didn't have any
It is F
colon. So let's go back and see what if there's anything that looks sort of like that. Did you get something on there to try out?
I earlier used FK24.
Yeah, but what is that? What are those? Oh, because that's the key.
I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think it's just
let's go back to our XML, and we have a custom. Wait on, go back. Go back to what to the get to the get page we were just looking at. Fork. No, go to fork.
What is fork?
It's the tool you use for get.
Ah. Okay.
There you go. Okay, so before you had keys, but you were referencing the key by FK. I'm wondering what that FK means. Does that make sense?
The key probably also came from again looking at the code.
Yeah, but so what I'm scroll up. If you see it says FK.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll up there. What does that FK refer to?
I googled for that. Maybe
Cheat sheets. So it doesn't look like FK is specific to us. So let's go back and instead of saying FK, just put we're looking for a value. And our value, so scroll back or go back to XML. Try putting Greel, the value in there, and just put that into the XPath. And see what happens. So it's interesting that it says it can't start or end with a quote, but we don't have quotes. Or we don't have those backslashes. So let's go to the line where it's failing. So in the get JSON, line 84, let's go to that.
See here. So the real XPath string, which we also printed out to the console, looks like this.
Okay.
Which is actually not what we expect because we wrote Greel.
But real XPath string is the path mapping. Let's go to that. So this is a short XPath.
We start with this and then.
So where it has, so if it's an empty string, so let's see what happens if we pass an empty string into it. Always a good place to start, anyways. What does that give us?
//pop.
Okay, so I think it's expecting a table of contents. I don't think this is just any arbitrary your XML. So let's go up here and let's add a TOC to it. So we go to our JSON XML.
Yeah, it said you are now that let's rewrite our XML. Okay.
Yeah. So above root, let's put a TOC. And put the TLC through the whole XML. Try that. It passed.
That means again we approve
nothing?
This.
Oh, that.
The closing brackets.
Okay, so it's not quite doing what we're expecting. Let's change the TOC to be a root.
What do you mean? TOC is the root.
Yeah, but we have root underneath TOC, so put root, ROT, ROOT.
I don't understand. You want to swap them or?
No. Keep the XML the same. In the code, let's put root. Yeah, just root here. See what happens if we do that. Probably uppercase, since it's uppercase in the thing. Let's not assume case insensitivity until we get things working. So it's complaining again about root. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So
I personally would dig now into code to try to understand more, but we want to first still just throw things at it without looking at the code itself.
still want to poke a little bit. Well, I mean, so right now, since it doesn't seem like it is meant to work for just arbitrary XML, you said that there was a sample XML that they wanted, right? Like you got a sample XML from him?
Yes.
So now let's go to that. What did I just give me? Okay, so now when you do this with an empty string, what happens?
Start failing. Null pointer.
Okay, so now let's try it with the string heap that they gave us.
Something like this, basically.
Yeah, like that. Super confusing, but gotta get to something that does something.
But that's also the bug I mentioned. If you look for a second again, we have folders and we have docs.
Mm-hmm.
And in the code...
But no solving bugs to a refactor.
Yeah. Even my IntelliJ points it out that we do... 1 second.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Okay, but first let's get it just locked. So run that test. What does it give us?
Still nothing, I think.
Does that mean the test is passing?
No, the approved file looks like this with the closed brackets.
But the test is passing.
I approved that file earlier because we
Yeah.
had that input, that out.
And that makes the test pass.
Yeah.
So let's look at it under coverage and see what's going on here.
Yeah, I can show with coverage. My issue is with this part of the code. We do string comparison, which I think when we run with coverage, will not evaluate that we find anything. And that's a big issue because I looked the video twice. He also keeps it like this. I was really troubling, like what goes wrong here with Java and string comparison, that he gets some coverage with approval test and I don't get it.
Yeah. So okay, on. So here it's not going into the doc because probably because we're doing a comparison equals instead of a equals equals. Let's scroll down and see what else happens. So we have this if. Keep going. Here we have an else if also on inequality.
In theory, we should be closing it. That's the thing. We have this closing bracket here. That's how we get basically.
Okay. So, hold on, scroll down. This is not getting called. Keep going. This is okay. So here, if the path is empty, we should get something. So keep going down. Keep going down. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of that is basically getting hit. Just not anything happening with it. The main we actually don't care about. Keep scrolling up to the top. This stuff is going good. This is the part that we think is just buggy. So keep going up. Up, up, up. Yeah, that part's good. That part's good. That part's good. Keep going up. And this part looks good.
Here we have FK.
Alright. So, let's get a little better coverage on this than we normally would. So, hold on, up a little bit. That path maps. Is that exposable? Find out where that's used. Like just click through. Keep clicking. Keep clicking. That's it.
Yeah, same use case in all places.
All right. So let's get this under test for the moment. And to do that, we're going to do a. Okay, well let's do commit first. So right now, all we've done is we've written a test. So let's commit this. Are we on branch? So commit the test and the other, all three of these files, and just with the lowercase t and just initial poke. The problem right now is the safety of this test is shit, right? And so let's go back and change line 45 from private to public, and then commit that. So this is going to be a capital R, bang, and expose path. Yeah, there you go. And then let's write a test to test this. So the first test here is just going to be a test initialization. Sure. Approval. Yeah, there we go. That one. And then in sure. No, just approvals.verify all. Or just verify. So map.
But you want to get that map out, right?
Yeah. But
that was stupid.
It's exposed now.
Yeah, static we get.
So you don't even need line 10.
Ah.
The fact that this is static probably means that we don't have to worry about it mutating, but let's run it. Move it over. Save it, run it again, it should pass.
Okay, the spaces afterwards, that's some issue with IntelliJ. Let me see.
Do you have Beyond Compare?
Yes.
We could use that as the reporter. Options.
We haven't released any of this.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Just do it as the, you put an @ use reporter, IntelliJ, and Beyond Compare, map reporter, and then up. Move it to class level. We might move this to a properties level. So run that. Passing. Good. Commit. So now at least we've locked that section of the code, like a little more security. Let's go back to where we were. Sorry, back to seeing the code coverage in the thing. Feels like we can lock the bottom part of this as well, but I'm not sure.
Quickly rerunning with coverage.
Okay, so this is locked now. We're not worrying about the get JSON, which is really horrible at the moment. Keep going, keep going. By the way, what we're doing actually is exposing a bug. It should be open bracket, close bracket, but it's not because it didn't find anything and it's deleting the one. Anyhow, not a big deal, but what it is. Scroll down. Scroll down. Obviously not getting any of this because you're never going to get the double equals to work. Yeah. don't worry about that because we're not going to get that to work. Keep going down. Keep going down. So this path mapping, this I'm interested in. So let's write another test, and you can keep it in the same thing we were just at.
In public.
Yep. So let's call this path mapping, and I'm gonna jump from one to many of this. So make me an array of short paths. And at the very least an empty array, and also whatever that thing is that we had before. And then do a verify all and just say path maps. So the label is going to be the string path maps. You're going to pass it short paths, and then you're going to pass it a lambda. It takes s and goes to, I know you need s goes to, yeah. And then string.format. We still don't have interpolation. And then empty quotes, comma, s. No, put the s at the end of this. Yeah. No, outside of the string. Comma, s, comma. Yeah. So I want to know what came in, and I want to know what comes out. So here I want %s goes to %s, I think is what I want. And then the first one is s, and the second one is going to be new XML, yeah, dot path mapping of s. Yeah, that looks good enough. Let's give that a run.
And to propose an exception from the lambda.
From the path maps? Ugh. Sure, do that. You can do object details dot throw as error. Yeah. So horrible, but anyhow, run that.
So M2 becomes //hoc, and this one, it's basically expanding. They have their own notation to
figure it out.
Actual XPath expressions.
All right, so that's something. Meaning they believe that the first thing should be TOC, and the second, like, they're expecting the short path to take a generic format. Either way, first move that over, get that passing. Let's run it under coverage again and do a little mutation. We're just going to do some manual mutation testing.
Okay, we passed, and now we are doing here as well, yeah.
All right, but if we scroll down here, looks like stuff here is fairly good. Scroll down more. Got this, no mapping found. Probably that's if we have more things than we have. It looks like this is fairly good. Scroll down some more. And here, so it looks like we're just not going past. Or are we not going past? Not going past the total number of things, or what is? Scroll down. So let's go look at our two approval files, because I think these things are related, just from the output. So no, not that one. That one. So here we have this DC TFK, right? And then if we go look at the mapping, so here we have an FK, and I think that's in our mapping, right? So if we go back,
FK means,
yeah. So let's copy the internals of this file.
Yep.
And let's go back to our test.
This one, but this one, yeah.
Yep. And here we're going to add these into the array. So just sort of paste after the last thing we just did. So it looks like the FK, it looks like we have two FKs there. Right? It looks like we have, so if we look at the mapping of that, what does that mapping give us?
Folder and key.
But go to our, wait, why did you say folder and key? It should just give us folder. Folder key, okay. But no, I mean if we go to the approved file where it expands. So here it looks like we have two things and it opens up to two things.
Yes.
And I think that underscore is the thing that's opening it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on that assumption, let's go to our test that we just wrote. And where we have DK, let's change that to DK colon, and for right now just AMM24F, or AMM24. That is good enough. Everything is going to, okay, so they can get rid of the rest of this.
Like the whole?
No, just the rest of that. No, just the rest of the line.
The line, yeah.
And then the next one, we're going to do basically the same thing. So DT is going to go to AM24. And the next one, same thing. And the next one, same thing. And the next one, same thing.
It's matter about that.
Yep. That is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, and let's run that. I'm assuming it's going to work and we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so it worked. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Move it over. Now, I believe we can sort of mix and match this. So copy lines 21 through 27, just clone them. And basically, starting on 28, we're going to replace the quote, comma, and the next quote, no, well, yeah, with an underscore. So do the first one manually. So do underscore here, and then delete, get it on the same line. Good. Now keep doing that.
All of them, basically.
All of them, yeah. So we're just going to do one where it's like, here's everything, and it should give us an XPath of everything. Because I believe this is what the underscore is doing. So this is just sort of a, let's test all this.
Okay, so we should fail again.
Good. So it's
by all. It's really cool. That's something I have so far not used much for approval tests, but it sort of helps you a bit, or it gives you more parameters to test.
Yeah.
Instead of just one. Really cool.
And so we're going to do one more here. Probably this is going to make us change the thing. But basically clone line 27 but put it at the end. And here where you have FTH, fifth, I assume that means, we're going to change it with unknown. And now I'm expecting this to blow up somehow. Probably blow up, actual exception blow up. We're going to change that in a second. Yeah, okay, good. So now here where it says, no, in our lambda, we're still staying completely in the test at this point. So in the lambda, where it says throw as error, change line 38 to just be return e.getMessage. And change that exception to throwable. And then run that. So unhelpful. Let's do a little bit better than that. Change. Okay, so here actually return s plus s. Just trust me for it goes to. Yeah, and then here do an e dot get type. Get class, yeah, there you go. And then plus get message. So this is just the fact that like Java messages are shit. Yeah, run that. Probably we want a space between those two things. Yeah. Okay, run that, move it. Let's check our coverage. It's either 100% in that method or we're still missing. I think there was 2 red things, so we could be missing something still.
That's interesting. Maybe Dave in this video has the same problem. He just wrote a bit more tests than I initially did, so he maybe has the same coverage problem. And I just thought he would have proper JSON.
So this is what's confusing me. I was expecting a no mapping found to come into here. But I think IntelliJ is already telling us on line 228 or 78, if you hover over that red, I bet it's telling us this throws a null pointer.
No, it's just there's a different method to use. You can ask it to be not empty. It is the same.
Run that though, let's see what happens. Does it change our behavior?
Oh. Yeah.
Wait, so test was passing there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But hold on. Even with that, the problem is still, I don't think the path map can ever give you an empty scroll up. Our path map is defined at the top. Go look at it.
No, that's the...
Go look at it. Yeah, that, it can only give you a null. It can never give you an empty. So go down to where it's being used, where that is empty is. So it's doing an index of is empty is coming off of get. There's zero chance it can ever give you an is empty. Right? What is really, it's only going to give you a null.
Sorry, can I give you a phone and can you unlock it? I want to make a call to my new.
So the let's put this back to the way it was a second ago. And instead of saying length is equal to 0, let's make this not equal, or let's do the get, make it not equal null. This is not a refactoring. We're about to break code, but I want to see that it does it the way I expect. So not equal to null, where the 0 is.
No.
And no length, so get rid of the length. And let's do a run on that.
Still passing.
Oh, that's still passing.
Let's run again with coverage to see if we might hit that now. I know why. I think for this particular test we don't have the underscore, so we don't even get in here.
We do have an oh, you're right. We don't have an underscore.
No.
So do an underscore FT. You're right. So probably they have this duplicated for just single thing, which in and of itself is something we should deal with. But let's run this. You need no, you can't. Any is not good enough. You need like any col. Oh yeah. Sorry, it's totally good enough. My bad. Run that again.
Don't we get it now?
Now we get the no mapping found. Okay, so now change the code back to the way it was. And now if you run it, we're going to get a null pointer exception. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff about what just happened. One of which is their current code throws an exception when you pass it as a mapping that's not found. And if they have tests, which let's be honest is doubtful, they probably are just saying catch that it throws an exception, in which case it would still probably do it right because they're probably not checking the actual type of exception or the message of the exception, right? But what they're really trying to say is empty, right? So like the actual thing they want to do here is string dot is empty. So so while we have this, run this under coverage now that we've accepted the new exceptions. I think we're at 100% coverage.
No, you told me to revert this again, so we're again not throwing this exception.
Yeah. Oh, so we're not at coverage. Yeah. That's good
but
point.
It's impossible to get this under
It's impossible to get this at the exact moment. That is so crazy.
It's funny, yeah. This will blow up before we...
Yeah, before you get to there. Okay, anyway, commit our tests. This is a committable state.
There's one possibility if you would get back an empty string from that map.
Yeah, but it's impossible to get back an empty string because the only thing that's in here is that, and it returned as an unmodifiable map of that. Yeah. It's impossible to do. But that's okay. Let's commit this anyways. Now, this is your kata, so I'm going to let you decide what our rules are. One rule is we are only doing a pure refactoring, so we are not going to fix those bugs. Alternatively, we could take a small pause and fix the bug. In real life, I would probably fix this bug.
Because it's somewhat obvious. I mean, this string...
Yeah, like my rule on bugs is usually like go ask a tester first, right? But I mean, like we understand what this code does, and we understand not this bug. That we'll get to that bug later. But we understand that it throws an exception, just not the type we're expecting.
So we want to go here first, okay?
Yeah, so my suggestion would be let's fix this first as a bug fix. And I would just do it. So that would be my suggestion right now, but you get to make the rules.
Yeah, no, again, I'm quite happy how much test we already got. That's probably better than most people before they would do a refactor like this now, but I also think like let's start touching something to get
let's do it.
What we need and higher coverage.
So on here in front of this, do a string dot is empty at the very front. Is there not a string dot is empty?
That doesn't exist. No, you can ask the string if it's empty.
But you can't do a strings dot is empty? There's a string utils dot is empty. So that's a bunch of bullshit.
It's not ours, but maybe.
There should be, well, that also is there. There should be one in approval tests.
String util or strings?
It should be string utils.
The only one I got was DOM4J. This only has two methods. That doesn't have
Sorry, was it one from, the only one was from Node4j?
We got this one, DOM4J, string utils.
Yeah, delete that one for a second. Try again. Oh, probably because you don't have access to approval tests at all in here. Yeah, approval utils. Do that. Add approval utils. Second one.
Do this properly.
Yeah, that also works.
This is the implementation now.
There we go. No, so well, now you're doing approval tests in both. Approval test brings you approval utils. So what I would do is I'd keep, like if you're doing proper, I would do test implementation, approval tests, and implementation.
Test is now a dependency to both source and the test.
Yes, but you don't have to add approval tests to the source. You can just add approval utils.
Ah.
That's the whole reason of the splitting of the utils and the tests.
No, that was export published. So you say
Instead of
utils.
yeah, bingo.
Ah, cool. Go back here then.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And now you should have a string utils.
Come on.
You have the approval utils probably defined 2 lines underneath it. So move line 16 up. Or I would move all of those up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Approval test minus utils.
I think it's just approval utils, not approval tests minus utils. Yeah, Maven approval utils. Or approval tests in and of itself would be good enough, and then we'll find the dependency. Just approval tests. It's the first one there. That one. It's that one.
Almost.
Util, not utils. That's unfortunate. Alright, so now delete that and we should be good. And we actually want is not empty. So we want a not in front of this. Is non-zero? Yeah, that works too.
That would be get string, huh?
Yep. And if we do this, we expect our test to change from a null pointer to a no mapping found. So let's find that, run that. Good. That's exactly what we would expect. We're going to do it in the other place as well. Yes, move that over. Let's do this as separate commits, even though we'll come back to that. So,
this one also changed. Interesting.
Of course, because the test has to change.
I didn't update that 1 second. I didn't notice the second tab in Beyond Compare. Mm-hmm.
So
this is
there under the commit subject, we're going to put capital B, better error. We're going to do it again for that one down here, which, hey, wow, does that code look exactly the same? We'll come back to that in a second.
Actually, it's a last key string.
Yeah, other than that, looks exactly the same, eh? The shape of the code looks the same. Run that.
Yep.
Also what we'd expect. So let's move that over. And I want to improve that error message as well, but I'm going to hold off on that for a second. So let's do a commit here of the bug, and then let's refactor this method, and then we'll come back. And I'm expecting this to be a fully tested method at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now let's go and that whole while loop, just pull that out as a method. No, the inside of it.
Okay.
Call it applesauce. Unable to extract. There are multiple variables to return. That's so unfortunate. Scroll down.
Sex string, for example, and
Yeah, okay. For right now, don't worry about it. Go get the whole rest of this. So starting on 291, grab all that, except for the target string. Well, sure. No, with that, extract all that as applesauce.
how can we call it?
Applesauce. Or output source, sure.
What did you say?
Applesauce.
Applesauce.
It's a nonsense name.
Yeah, so much nonsense that I figured, no, you probably meant this.
All right, let's commit that. Run that. Commit it. I mean, it's an automated refactoring. We don't even really have to run it, but it's always good to. Lowercase r. Automated refactoring. Yeah, extract method. We could have done that without tests. And then now let's scroll down. Okay, so what's going on here? We come in, still like a whole bunch of hankiness coming in here. We print out the substring. No idea why we do that. But let's, at the very first, let's just combine lines 76 and 70. Because that's why. Why would you do that? So click on line 276, or seg string on 97, and quick fix that. There, that's better. Commit that. Okay, so now, what is it actually doing? It's taking a substring of the new start. And then, can you show me where new start is used? Only here. Okay, so that's a mistake. Show me where target string is used.
Reassign it. Ooh, okay.
Reassigned, reassigned, or not reassigned. it is possible for it to get to here and it's possible for this to get to here and not
this and the return we can actually pull in here. No, at least this one we can put into the if block, because we either do this and this, or we throw.
We do both of those. Oh, okay, hold on. So that's a very interesting thing. Let's do that. So click on your if and invert it. And now take out the else. And run that. That should pass. Commit. I feel like that's an R, capital R, no bangs. Probably if we had done finer commits, we'd have a couple lowercase r's in there, but it's good enough. R, clean up if, or clean up check. Okay. Last key string. So here we do a last key string, but the last value string so this is just splitting on the colon.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do that. Instead of doing setString.index of, do setString.split on line 300.
Mm-hmm.
Colons mean things in regex, so I would probably put backslashes before that colon. Alright, and then for right now, just change line 302 to say split of 0, and this line, the next one to say split of 1. Good, commit. This isn't capital R supported by tests, but more dangerous of the things we've done. All right. I'd even be okay with an R bang bang on this one. Split string.
Just use better API than previously done.
Yeah, it's just and it's more intentional. So now, oh man,
say contains.
This is where we want parallel assignment. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can split. You can move that split up to line 297. Although I don't think we're actually testing it doesn't have a colon. Hit back or move it back down. Let's go to our test and clone clone DK and move it at the bottom, of course, but take out the colon and the AMM24. So I mean, like, that shouldn't be valid, but let's do it. Or it is valid, in which case let's move this over. But either way, it's not doing what we're expecting. Like, it was a case we were not considering before, so we need to do it now. Out of curiosity, just for completeness, also clone dk and do a dk underscore dt, which is now combining two things that I don't know what this will return. It feels like a scenario that needs to be addressed. Okay. Move that over.
That's one more scenario.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. What does that give us?
It gives us something.
Yeah, and let's do the reverse of this as well. So, yeah, clone that and flip the... Oh, I love it. Like, very obviously, this code is not expecting to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think that's what it wants to do, but it is doing it.
It's interesting that in one case we get 2 and the other one we end up with 1 here, but it's okay. That's how it behaves. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, because it's truncating the last thing, which I don't think it means to be doing. But either way, commit this. This is just a T. Yeah. More tests.
Our coverage by now is...
That's okay. We don't need coverage right now. So now let's do that. Move that split up to line 297. And here we're going to say if split dot length is less than 2.
Less than 2.
Sorry, if 2 is if it's not equal to 2. If split dot length is not equal to 2. So if there are not 2 things here, don't go into this last part. Let's run this.
Cool.
That did not do what I expected. Go back. Sorry, show me, go back to the... Yeah, that passes. Wait, what?
This is how the
Yeah, just run it again and that will go away. So when we move that up, so keep that the same, take 300 and move it up to, I want to see which one of our things is failing. So run that. Does that pass?
Yes.
Okay, and so I got a chat by a phone. We need length equals 2, not equals to 2. So on line 299, split dot length equals 2.
You got the text regarding what to do here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, Claire. I appreciate that. So let's run that. Let's see that pass.
Yeah, we're passing.
Okay, so let's commit that.
Bang bang because it went wrong the first time, or?
I mean, fair enough. I mean, it's definitely a manual refactoring. It's only one line of code. It is protected by tests, but actually, it really is. Take off the bang bang, because the test caught us when we did it wrong.
Okay.
So move split outside. Okay, so then let's first rename that to just key, and the second one to value. So rename that key, just key, and the second one rename to value.
Yeah. Now I got it.
Yeah. And then this concat, I feel like this is a very messy way of concatenating things. So if you click on that, does it give you a like convert to just string to call sequences? Yeah, that's even worse. So let's just, they're going for efficiency here, that like it just is utterly unneeded. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this entire thing and just on a next line underneath this, we're going to say target string equals, or target string plus equals, because it's a concat, and then string.format. And then it's, yeah, let's do it this way for the moment. So here, say %s, comma, or sorry, no comma, equals single tick, %s, single tick, square bracket, and then comma, it's going to be path map dot get key, comma value. And yeah.
Oh, there's a typo in target string.
Yep. And then delete line 308. And now we can see a duplication that we need to, and you can get rid of 306 as well. Yeah, that's why that failed. So run that. I feel like there should have been automated refactoring to do that. Did that fail?
No, I just had to rerun. Now it must.
Okay, so commit that. So this is going to be like a better string, clearer string. It's capital R. Yeah, we probably should have committed the first two things first, but whatever. I'm not being great about my small refactorings. Okay, so now I think it's clear if instead of saying target string equals or plus equals, let's just change that to equals on line 306. And in front of the format, put another %s. And then as a first variable, put target string. Is that clear? How do you feel?
Well, I would start renaming that to result.
Yeah, except for you can't rename it to well, yeah, because it's passing in something already.
Yeah, but strings are immutable, so this reassignment here is kind of, we're basically just lazy by reusing a string variable which we get passed in.
Yeah, but we're adding it to it.
True.
And it might not.
Yeah,
so we need
true.
to.
Yeah. Then yes, still nice if you read then the plus equals, yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. And then, so commit that, and then let's do one more extract. And then where we have that pathmap.get key, we have it in 2 places. Let's extract that as a variable. Higher. One up, move it up. Or if we'll give it a name first, let's call this path. And then move it up 1. One down.
We need it, yeah.
Yeah, so we get the key, we get the path, we get the value, we check that the mapping exists, and then we add it in, we return the string. All of this I'm now feeling like somewhat comfortable with the exception of the fact that line 296 does not belong in here. So what I want to do here, have we committed?
What?
So let's move this out of here. So line 296, but out of curiosity, like to me it's obvious that line 296 doesn't belong here, but is it obvious to you? Do I need to explain that, or like I can't tell if explaining it is useless or it's important. Does that make sense? Like this line doesn't belong here.
I think I understand, but I wouldn't be able to like say it in words. Why? I mean,
because it's like here you're saying here's a string, and here's the part that I actually care about, right? Which is the new start. Well, really, what you just want to say is like handle this string.
We could have basically moved that method from here.
Yeah. So let's move that to there. Exactly. So move that just up to line 291.
I think that might be doable with...
Oh, you can do it as an automated refactoring if you want, right? Which is you can just introduce it as a
parameter, yeah.
Parameter, yeah. Did it automatically clear up the other ones? That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here.
Yep. And then reorder them.
Okay.
Because it really should be whatever this method is, and I feel like a name is right on the tip of my tongue here. It should say take this and then add it to the other thing. Oh, and that's actually what I like even more. So commit this, run the test, see them pass, commit this. Oh, it's about to become nice. This makes me happy.
Automated.
Yeah, and then just extract parameter.
Reminds me of something I read today. Someone tweeted what I think it was Dave. What Ken Beck said is good design. It said move things that belong together, and things that don't belong, separate them, and that's exactly what we did here.
Bingo. But look at what we're about to do. So I was wrong with that format thing. What we're going to do in the format is we're going to take that %s and we're going to take it out. And we'll take the target string and we'll take it out as well. I'm doing like a big thing. I don't know how to do this in smaller groups at this point. And then instead of saying target string equals, we are going to say just return. And then where we have target string on 309, we're going to say just empty string. And then we're going to take out target string completely from 295. And then on 2902, before the return, or right after the return, we're going to say target string plus open source, 92. Up.
2 right here.
Yep, so on line 92, you're going to say the thing we just used, target string plus Boom. Run that. That should pass. And now we have a nice little. This method takes a thing and it converts. It or expands the path. Right. So once this passes, we'll do a commit and then we'll rename that to expand path.
Where's that one? Make it even better.
Yeah, so this is like, I think of this as just make it more functional, but move target or move previous string out. I don't know if anyone ever reads these messages.
Oh, this one.
Okay, so now let's rename that to expand path. Not target, path. And then the segment string, probably a better name for that would be, so let's rename the parameter as well to short path. Short path pair, I like even better. Okay. Run, although it's perfunctory, and then commit.
Got to check something in a second.
Yep. So I think I messed up earlier and I didn't have loopback on, so it's possible the first 3/4 of this video, your voice will not be present. I apologize. Okay, so we have the split, we got the length. Yeah, this is, I like this method. You can make it static, there's no reason that it's...
Oh, so we can also make the one calling instead of the one calling.
The one calling it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for it not to be, right? It doesn't use any member variables. In fact, I don't think this class even has member variables. So.
Only this map, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it has a utils. So anyhow, so if we go to the thing that calls this, we're going to see a place that does basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Starting at new string. I think what we can do is, okay, so here it's taking all the underscores, right? And it's trying to split on underscore. So what I want to do here instead of this while is I want to do instead on the line above this 266. Take the short x path and split it on underscore. And this is going to be pairs. And then let's do a for each on the pairs. And basically this is going to replace our while loop. So, well actually, let me just, I'm going to try it. What I'm about to do is crazy. This is a weird refactor. I am trusting my tests right now that my tests are just handling this situation. So for this pair, what we're going to do is we're going to say, we already have a target string. So we're going to say target string, basically line 190, line 296. Copy line 296. But instead of saying, say target string plus equals, and then at the end of this for loop, do a return target string. Line 7, no, after the for loop. And instead of new start, you're just going to say pair. And then get rid of the entire rest of this method. And run that and see if it still passes. Whatever I just did is like a monstrous refactoring, so let's hope that the test passes.
Yeah, quite a leap.
Yeah, that.
I'm almost confident, yeah. Let's see.
Failed. Okay, so let's see how it failed. It failed by working! Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so first of all,
no, but it's not working. If we're missing this, and each part syntax basically means search until you find any folder with that key, and then below that you need a folder.
so the first one should have 2 slashes, but everything under it should have 1.
Here it is.
Yep. Okay.
It starts with 2, then you go or select all.
Yep.
So this was actually good. This here potentially is okay to not be there, maybe.
Yeah, but it's actually not bad to have it there. So let's just go to where we were. Oh no, wait, hold on. So what we want is, so put a plus, at the end of this do a plus slash. And then at the very end do target string dot substring. Yep. And then you're going to say 0, comma, target string dot length minus 1. There might be a string utilities to do this. We'll take a look at it. Let's see it work first though. So now,
it's awkward because those are the cases that should not, or like, don't work anyway.
it shouldn't be working. No, but yeah. And then this one used to do, it has an extra, both of these have an extra quotes in it. Right?
No, they're missing a slash now.
No, this is what is received, and it has an extra quote, slash.
No, I think that red slash means it's missing.
No, red slash means it's different.
Yeah, approved from there, so yes. Yeah, sorry.
So let's go back. But then why is it? So, sorry, go back to the beyond compare for a second. Because I feel like this is a good enough improvement on refactoring that if I can get it to hit, I kind of want it. Show me, yeah, that. Okay, so here dk gives 2, but dk dt doesn't. Such a weird situation. And dk dt with something else also doesn't. So we really want, as long as it's not a slash. So let's go back to it and get it so it does exactly what it did before. And so here, don't put the plus slash on there, so take that away. And then on the next line say, if target string ends with slash, and then I want a not on that. If it doesn't end with a slash, add a slash. And actually, you know what? Get rid of the length minus 1. That's, well, run this. Let's see if it works. Before I improve things. It didn't work.
Of course, we have to move this again, then it should.
Yep, okay.
Actually, just prepare the targets.
I think this is going to fail on all the other places.
Yeah.
Yep. So we do want the ending of it. But I would actually, no, sorry, take the ending off. I actually want to go the opposite way. So what I want is that if it does not end with that, put a slash. I want you to move that before the target string, and then get rid of the length minus 1. Yep,
So
get rid of that.
Substring.
Yeah, no substring. I think that should work. So we're saying, before we add this stuff, let's put a slash.
Almost.
Almost.
Because when we have empty string.
Why do we have an empty string? So this is nothing. Go back to where we were.
It's here.
It puts the empty string, yeah, but why does it go into that for loop? So if you split nothing, you still get 1.
Yeah, here's then contains exactly the whole string length.
If xpath equals empty, take 1, change that to just return TLC. Run that.
Yeah, we're passing again.
Okay, commit this with definitely R bang bang.
How about we move this even up?
No.
Okay.
We got to, from here on we can do smaller, safer refactorings. We're not done. We are not done. But the method is better, and what we just did was big.
Well, fine, man.
All right, so now we're going to do what you said. Let's move that if statement up and just initialize the target string to // Yeah, run that. We could have done that safer, but it's safe enough.
Don't need those anymore.
Whoa, slow down. Commit. You're right, but slow down, commit.
So,
Capital R. Introduce guard clause. Okay, now clean up all that garbage. And all that comments. Yeah, that's no longer needed. Yep, better. Alright, commit that.
let's rename that to target string finally.
Yeah, this is the Well, and even
Maybe
better
it's-
than target string would just be expanded. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Passing, okay.
And now we can clean up that iffy, hinky language I don't like. So that 2 slashes, make it 1. Go with me for a second. Make it 1. And then delete the if, but keep the expanded plus equal. Run that. I think that does the same thing. Because I think the only way... Damn it. I was wrong. Alright, undo it. Alright. Let's call this method good enough. It's down to like 10 lines. It's fairly easy to understand what it does. Good enough? If you want, you can click on the 4 and convert it to a stream, but I think that's going to take away the readability.
Yeah, let's leave it as a loop.
Yeah. All right. So now let's go look. Look above this. There's some things here that I think. Okay, so I feel like that is actually like useful documentation that we might have wanted to read before we started this. So let's leave this.
Looks like it's part of email XML file which Dave was using.
Yeah.
But I can test right now.
Was it repeating itself? Because it looks like it says it can be optimized as.
But here we have it represents the inner doc, and here we have it represents the inner doc element, but here's the attribute, so there's a difference between those two blocks and the last one.
Alright, whatever. It's good enough. We'll leave it for now. It possibly has value. Hold on. So read post request we can definitely delete. In fact, this method has to be useless. It's not called. It only returns null. Just delete it.
Maybe the original code somewhere
It did
called,
something.
but not.
Do a commit on that as a delete dead code. Yeah. Technically, we didn't use the automated, but whatever, it's good enough. Go up. Okay, so now I think we have some bug fixes that we need to address.
I would choose basically if you want to really proceed further. Yeah.
So let's do these bug fixes. So instead of doing replace with equals, and then flip the order.
I think from what I recall, we really need to be now get for our JSON.
We'll scroll up. Let's go do this in the other one as well. There's multiple places where this is happening.
Currently.
Yep, there. And then scroll up again. I think there's another. Maybe not. Do a search for double equals. That's commented out code. We're going to delete that in a second, but let's handle this first. And Yeah. And then the other one as well. Doesn't do anything on top of it, so we can delete that later. But for right now do a search for double equals and see what we got. That one we want. Keep going. That one we don't care about. That one we want. Okay, so commit this as capital B, change string to string comparison equal, or string double equals to dot equals.
1 second.
Good point. And we actually got stuff right now.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that in a second and make that better. But now do a commit. No, I can't even handle it even. Well, whatever. Do a commit. This is the bug fix. Yeah, state, not the received. You should add to the ignore the dot received dot. That should never show up. Dot star. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, was automated, or is there?
No. Well, no. It's a bug fix, no matter what. So it's a B. It's how many lines of code is it in the actual thing? I think it's like 3, 4. Yeah. So just change all string equals to string dot equals. The thing is, in a very real scenario, I don't know how dangerous this is, because we are definitely changing behavior, and we might be turning on code that's been dead forever. And like this, two bangs. This is definitely dangerous. Well, yeah, can you modify that? Oh yeah, because you're using the little get tool.
Come on.
Wait, what just happened?
I don't know how to do it.
Oh, that's okay. Then don't do it. That's fine.
Rename. That's the branch.
Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry. It's not important. Okay. So next, let's go to our approval test. Our tests. And down there, say verify as JSON. Verify JSON. Sorry, the first one.
The first one, okay.
Yeah. And you will need JSON to do this. Is that in our?
I already have that because last time
Yeah.
I played around
Yeah.
with it.
Okay. So run this.
I can quickly show it. So yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah, I trust you. It will complain if you don't. That's better. Commit that. So this sort of so this actually should look sort of what we expect it to look. So look at that JSON. Look at that approval file.
1 second, let me test again. Passing.
So here we have data attribute file. Open up the XML file, and can we put them sort of side by side? All right, so we have a table of contents, which, because now we're expecting this to kind of work, right? So there's our table of contents. It's saying it's data, which, sure. Then it has an attribute with an ID in a file, which, do we have an ID in a file? The ID is C-Course 27.
It's basically the whole path, how to get there.
Oh, this is how to get to the ID. And then the file is what?
No, this is the X path.
The short X path.
To exactly this element, and then the file
Oh.
for this element.
Is the data in it. Okay, sorry. So it's saying there is a table of contents. Here's how you get to it, and here's what it contains. That's cool. Okay. So at least now there's some understanding of what this does.
basically
Like almost 2 hours into it.
Plus, again, we got this XML file. I even also started trying to figure out the XML file myself by looking more at the code and understanding what kind of keys and such it's expecting.
And can we see the code coverage right now? Like, how's it looking?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like
we don't have this, but the other case we now cover.
Well, folder and what is that? TrueNum. It looks like that also would be something that would be interesting to test. Let's see if we can get those two tests into place. Well, first of all, let's delete that commented out code on 30. And in fact, while we're at it, the no need to put anything. Let's delete the whole else there with the comments and scroll down. We're just going to get rid of clutter really quickly. Keep going. You can get rid of any. You get rid of the whole else there. That's garbage. 68 to. Yep, kill it. The return list on 74 is just old code that needs to go away. No, that continue. Wait. Oh, because it's a continue at the end of the thing. Yeah, you're right. That's stupid. And scroll up. And we'll keep that for now. Keep going. That you can definitely delete. We'll keep that for now. That if you can get rid of. Line 103. We'll keep the rest of that for now. Current element itself. That we can get rid of. Scroll up. Yeah, keep the null anyways. Scroll up. And sure. Okay. Run test commit. So if path string equals a backslash, it should do something. So let's run that as a test.
Basically clean up. Here.
Yeah.
You went here?
Yep.
Empty or?
No, single slash. And we'll clean up that test in a second. So run that. Okay, this is different and it has more stuff, so copy it over. And then commit this as a test, and then let's refactor this test. Test root. So go back to our test, and on line 17, the XPath string, pull that into a variable. Move it to the top of the method. I'm just doing coloring book here. Same on line 128. Up to the top. Extract the rest of it into a body. It's going to be verify XmlToJson. Good, and then move that line 18 down to the bottom. Yeah, beautiful. How did you do that so nice and quick?
With Command Shift and then arrow up.
Oh, nice. Moves the whole block of the thing that you're in.
Depending on where I am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, run that. That should pass. And then inline those two variables. Okay, so we have one thing that tests this is this path. We have one thing that tests this is a path. We'll commit this, and then we need one more thing that gets us into the area of whatever we have as red.
Looks like we're coming to a nice ending for today. That basically we have really the complete test coverage that we could get started, but
Yeah.
worked a lot to have it all green now.
Is it all green now, though? Scroll down.
And not quite, but you just said there is one more test at
Yeah.
least. So,
And so it looks like we need something with a true num and a. No, that's true num again, right?
we need a doc with an attribute true num.
Yeah. So scroll down. And what's this thing down here? Type. Yeah. So look at our XML and just see if we see something that says type.
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then something that says true num, I guess. Oh yeah, here, line 16. So how would we get this thing?
A different thing, and right now here we go down into the first folder.
Yeah.
We actually want to go into this one.
Okay, let's try that one. FK, yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens.
We need a new day. That's why the pop-up came.
Ah. Oh, did we just cross your midnight?
Yep.
All right, commit that.
Again.
Run under coverage one more time. Yeah. So
And now we didn't see it because true num is actually we have to get I think into this folder.
okay. So do we need like an underscore? And then something equals this? So just do.
Actually just
Okay, yeah, sure.
try to run directly into the element that has it.
So I think it's not a TK if we go back to where we were. The XML. So this is a folder, but oh, the other one was a folder as well. Can you go really quickly look at what FK looks like though, in that mapping thing? Folder key. We want folder type FT. Yeah, sure. What does that give us? Still something bad. All right. Well, let's mute the test. Well, actually, no. Sorry. I think, yeah. Well, try one more thing, and then we'll mute the test and call it a night. So put the foreign key of what's above it first, and then put the thing underneath it. So, yeah. So put a F key. And then FT of that. See if that works. I don't know. It probably won't. Nope. All right. Disable that test. We'll call it a night. I know you have long drive tomorrow. Did you want to try a retro on it, or should we just end?
Let's call quickly.
All right. Can you open up a mind map? And the second button, I think, starts with like start new map. The orange one, yeah. And which kata is this called? Like a XmlJSon kata? Just double click it. Yeah, XML to Java kata. And then tab to go off of it, or to put a subtree. And let's start with questions and confusions. And off of that, for me, I still don't really understand how to query the XML with the short tags. That's really the question and confusions I have right now. What about you? Anything that's still like, I don't understand what's doing what or why?
Well, especially the last test, I'm a bit surprised why I have given all the understanding we haven't shown for use for JSON. Yeah.
So you also are having this issue. Is there other things that you're like, that are just saying your brain is like, I'm still not understanding blank?
No, I'm mostly up right now still on the refactoring, so we do in-depth verify coverage.
Okay. So in that case, off of the main thing, let's do another tab and just say what we did. And then off of that, so I think like from a high level, the first, we got it running with an XML. Oh, well, first we tried to get it running with a generic XML. That didn't work. Then we tried to get it running with the XML that we were given. That did work. I think it's worth noting that we didn't even try to read the documentation that the methods provided, which probably would have been a good thing to do. So can you put that and then sort of like change the background color to red? Like this is something we didn't do.
It surprised me actually.
I almost never get anything useful from documentation, so it's really not in my habit cycle to read it. But every once in a while that does cost me.
I would have looked into not the documentation actually, but rather the code. I looked what strings, what element attributes they're trying to.
But so I mean, like first, like if I can always poke the code, whatever it does is always the best, like for me. And then if I can read the code for understanding, that's my next. And then documentation is like a distant third. But in this case, the documentation might have been really useful. It's not always a great pattern. So okay, yeah, after we skipped it, we locked down the map, the creation of the map. And that was fairly easy. Then we locked down the expansion of the short path, which I now to believe to be their own custom short path, which is why we probably didn't find any documentation on it. Then we cleaned up the expansion of the short path. That we tried to do the while loop and it wouldn't let us do it. So then we took the part that we could do and we cleaned that up. So okay, so do a tab after this, cleaned up the expansion of the short. So first we tried to extract the while loop. Didn't work. So then we extracted the remaining part of the method.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Because we could.
I initially thought we do this to sort of minimize the scope of things that go out of the while block.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So then, okay, so after we do this, then we cleaned up, we cleaned that part up. Wait, sorry. After the lockdown of the expansion path, before we cleaned up the short path, I think we changed the bugs. When did we do the first B's? Better error method. Really early, yeah. So even before we extracted the method, we did the bug cleanup for the errors. So let's add what we did there.
We do there. Oh.
Yeah. Fixed exception bugs. But drag that actually up to what we did, because it's even before we extracted the just into what we did, or into lockdown expansion of short path would also be fine. But now you can move it up, yeah. But that works. Okay, so on the cleanup of the short path, we extracted the remaining parts. We turned it into functional code. And then we did that big rewrite of the while loop. The R bang bang up to this part. Like that, and that's, I mean, I would call that a rewrite more than I would call it a refactoring. Right? Like, it's a small rewrite, to be sure, right? Like, what is that, 20, 30 lines? But
we had tests.
We had tests to prove that the rewrite worked. Rewrites at this scale can work, but like, even here, it was more dangerous. It just, yeah. Anyhow, so then we did a rewrite in the retro. Then we did some final cleanup. Then we cleaned up the, okay, so then let's get out of here. Then we moved to the main method. So it's interesting, like, we sort of, like, there was this one method in the middle that we wanted to hit, and we sort of circled wagons around it, cleaning up everything until it became the thing that was easiest. Right? So it's sort of like, well, that was hard, so then we went to the other things and got them under control, and then this became easier. Right?
It also surprised me how much we refactored here. Like, it would have been so easy to basically stop after using the string which is non-zero.
Yeah.
The part would have disappeared, but it went really much further. I was surprised how long we stuck here, but it's actually just like logical, like not just fix it, clean it up until it's really like useful now and understandable.
Yeah, and I have a tendency to want to go until I can understand things. There's a concept Arlo has of read by refactoring, and I feel like in this refactoring, I understand what path mapping does now. Right? So that time spent refactoring is also time spent understanding.
Not reading again and again and again.
Yeah, well, yeah. A, get the initial understanding, and B, if I come back to it, I can understand it really quick again. So then we did the main JSON method.
Was already fixed bug in my JSON method.
I think the first thing we did was we fixed the bug. But what I would actually do is I would say main XML to JSON method, and then off of that I'd say fix bug, because we're going to end up with a lot of stuff again, similar to clean up the short path. In fact, if you drag the cleaned up expression of short path out a little bit, this tree will be a little easier to read.
Sorry?
Just drag the node for cleaned up expression of short path up. No, the other node. Just drag it to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. Okay. And so now on the main XML to JSON method, so we fixed the bug. We deleted the clutter.
First thing we was we improved our test. Now that they have good JSON, that it
Good point. So then we improved the JSON tests to make them readable. Yep. Then we did the then we deleted the clutter, and then we tried unsuccessfully to test some better scenarios. Okay, so I think that's what we just did. So now let's move to observations. So off of the blue, put it observations. And then off of observations, we're going to put, Java, domain, tools, patterns, and emotions. Normally I would put team as well. So let's put team. Okay. Anything you noticed in Java that you hadn't seen before?
I was convinced that by looking at the video that he somehow managed to get proper JSON without fixing the equals bug. But maybe I'm just wrong. We have to wait for a second video.
Let's put that in there. So just off the net. Maybe he could get that to work without fixing the equal split bug. I'm not sure how that would happen, but it's possible. Okay. I don't think there was anything else in the Java that showed up that was unexpected from me. Although, just in the Java, lambdas are exception aware. And it feels like that should be something that is easier to fix than the way that we did.
Yeah, I think you can write some wrappers or something.
Yeah.
Like, you need more libraries or write your own utility part.
Yeah, but there should be a better pattern than what we just did.
Mm-hmm.
If we hit the domain, so in the domain, the thing I mainly was pulling away from this is the way that the short paths expand, which is basically like key, what was it, key colon value, and then underscore key colon value. Anything else you got in the domain?
Actually, I think the key expands to key colon attribute.
Oh, okay. Key colon attribute.
Was that like the FT translates to folder and then type, which is type is an attribute of folder.
Yeah, but then the after the colon was the value for the key.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And that's sort of all I took away from this in terms of the domain. I can't even tell you exactly what, other than there's a table of contents. I can't tell you exactly what we're even looking at. Can you?
I agree, apparently. Like, you print out your hard disk in XML.
Oh, okay. Let's under domain, put this is a file tree. That's nice. I didn't even realize.
And we have folders, and folders contain other folders or files, and files never contain files don't have children.
Okay, cool.
Somewhere in the code there was a comment like has no children.
Children.
Like this.
Okay, cool. Folders and files. That's super helpful. Thank you.
Move that here.
Anything else in the domain?
But I would like to point out Xml somewhere. Like, I'm really glad that I've heard this during my studies in university, but I haven't met it since then.
Yeah, fair enough.
Life, but again,
No, under domain, just make a tab and say XPath.
Those are the moments when you realize, oh, it was actually good to go to university and learn a bit about broad spectrum.
Tools. Anything you observed new in the tooling?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and the tooling. The thing where you moved method was new to me. And I think that was it Alt up or Alt Shift up?
Shift up or down.
Yeah, but you have to be on the method name.
Anywhere. You can also move a line of a statement up and down.
Yeah, but the reason it moves a method is because you're on the method name.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was nice.
Actually, signature. I could have also been on the public.
Yeah.
Or at the very end.
Other things that showed up in the tools you hadn't seen before. Actually, under tools, can you just put fork? And then, is it possible to rename a previous commit under that?
I think I did.
So this does a rename, but I think you're renaming the branch.
That was the branch, and maybe I didn't. Okay.
Can you just Google really quickly, fork rename previous commit? Commit message maybe? Looks like there's something there. Well, maybe not fork. So how do you do it in general?
I use source 2. I tried in IntelliJ. I would have like changed something, and then I can say aligned commit. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Alright. No worries. What else we got in the retro? Any other tooling? I mean, I guess.
Your, what is it used for streaming?
Yeah, in OBS, we need to turn on loopback for voice. this goes to just a general. I feel like there should be like a put a sub off here, and it feels like there needs to be a Twitch checklist. I feel like I'm missing a Twitch checklist of check that everything is working kind of thing. Yeah. Patterns. Any patterns that we're pulling out here?
I'm not sure what they're looking for here.
No, just anything you saw that was like as a pattern we were doing this. But I don't have anything that jumps to mind. Alright, any emotions that you felt?
I felt good. I feel really well.
Okay, so when you felt good, what was happening?
We managed to write tests.
Okay, so put the emotion happy, and then manage to write the test. I was also really happy when there's that part where when we were refactoring that little piece that we pulled out, and then all of a sudden it's like I understood, like right before we did that big refactoring, there was like oh, now I understand what this code is trying to do, right? So it was, for me, it was right before we did the big refactoring. And it was that understanding. It was like, so happy is like something good happened and it was surprising, right? So I was surprised that that section of code not only ended up being important, but so important that it revealed the entire rest of the method to me, right? Which is probably my brain saying like, don't. A lot of times, like when I do stuff, I don't expect it to be valuable, and I think my brain is trying to remind me like it's worth cleaning up these things that aren't important, because a lot of times they have value in it, right? Like it's like there might be hidden gold in these crappy corners that seem unimportant.
I remember, like, you had that moment, you already said, like, oh, this is brilliant, and then once you told me what we did, and we had it, and I was like, oh, yes, I see why you were so happy about that moment.
So, with the tests, what was the thing that was, like, surprising for you?
First of all, that we wrote those tests for the map. I didn't see that coming, or as important.
So let's get that into the... so like writing the test for the map. Those actually ended up being helpful too, right? Because we use somewhere, I guess under tools, can you put approval tests? Yeah, that. So under approval tests, verify all. Right? Like we were able to take the map and figure out what our test cases should be from our previous test. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, so we wrote this because we wrote the test before this that just verified a static map that otherwise is not that interesting of a test, but it ended up being valuable to us.
But like we suddenly understood that this FK is nothing I can do here. It's the main language to
from here. All right. Other things that we should do before we close.
What is Teams for?
Teams. So just in the dynamic of you and me working together. I mean, the one thing I will say is I really appreciate that a lot of times you give me a lot of trust when I take you in weird directions. Right. Like that is something that I really appreciate, because there are times where I'm like, I want to go in this direction and I can't articulate why. And you are usually just like, okay, yeah, let's go. Like,
yeah, I kind of know that you know what you're doing, or if not, then again, we just do it. We usually don't spend half an hour going there.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Any other thing?
I could write down somewhere that for me it was good that we started an hour earlier today. Yeah,
that's true. It's nice being not as tired. Although I still kept you a half hour past with my retros. My retros are getting longer. But yeah, That worked out pretty good. You want to try it a half hour or an hour earlier next week? Or you want to go back to normal time?
I'm not sure about the kindergarten schedule, but I'll let you know.
No worries. All
We
right.
didn't talk about the email I sent you this week. You got that about the typo and the pull request I made?
Oh, I'm not sure that I did get that. Pulling up my email right now.
Another part maybe on the team that open to change the plan or schedule of what we were up to tonight.
Oh, found a typo. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did get that one. I did fix that one. Thank you. Yeah, in the starter project, it would be great to it would be great to get those better. Gradle in general, I feel like that's something I should spend a little bit of time learning.
It's not really good.
No, it's not, and yet it's something I don't spend a lot of time with. I've only recently gotten comfortable with Maven. For a long time, I was like, well, let's just keep the builds simple enough that they, like, I was like, Ant is fine because if it's too complicated for Ant, something's broken in your build process. But Maven has been good, and the other thing with Maven is it's not just a build system, but it's also the package manager. And how those two things are sort of inherently linked, and then Gradle is nice because it kind of separates that out again.
I don't know what emotion that is, but that we didn't actually get to real refactoring.
How does it? So what do you feel in your body?
It's not sad, maybe impatient or.
I love it. It's not sad. So first of all, like, I guess there's part of me that wonders, like, you know, in that first hour we could have jumped straight to the core. There's a couple of things around that are interesting. One is, like, there's this thing I see a lot in Scrum classes where they're like, the first things you should do are the most valuable things, right? But I disagree with that. Like not only do I disagree with it, I think the people who say that disagree with it. And my counter evidence is, like, if I was going to bet you $1 million that you could kick, you know, like a football into a goal, and I was willing to give you 2 practice shots that didn't count, you wouldn't take the real shot and then the 2 practice shots. You take the 2 practice shots and then you take the real shot, right? Like, you would do the thing that provides the most value last, not first, right? Because things that don't provide a lot of value reduce risk a lot of times, right? And that is important. And so, you know, in these situations where you only have 2 hours, I feel like there's some point where you might be like, well, maybe I should have focused. But in the real world, you never only have 2 hours, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we don't work at companies that 2 hours later are going to collapse. And so I often try to just ignore that part of me because it's like a false constraint that ends up making me stupid in the real world. Mm-hmm. But in these situations, it can, like, these are places where that calculation could be valuable. I just find that in the real world it's not. I am sorry, go on.
Would you be potentially free Thursday night or Friday night? And interested?
Let me check.
And those are your days, I guess, but yeah, it's my night.
Yeah, I don't have anything going on. Thursday and Friday both. Yeah, pick one.
Okay, I'll check my calendar.
Yeah.
Send you an invite. Okay.
I am very curious now to watch his video.
Mm-hmm. I send you the link.
Yeah,
I put
please.
it somewhere. Also the domain basically.
And then can you do a file export and tweet this?
File.
Publish, sorry.
Output.
Start. Publish for 6 months. Yeah, none of this stuff matters. Just publish for 6 months. And then hit the Twitter. And can you CC me instead of mind map? Just change that to like CC. LL. Yeah. Retro. Perfect. All right. I think that's it. Thanks for staying up late. Enjoy
And
vacation.
until next time.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.